Hi guys, it's Mel, and welcome to my extraordinarily massive TBR for August. Okay, now let me explain. Okay, so for the month of August, I have a bunch of books to read because the majority of these are carryover books from July and June, because I pretty much read like only 3 books in July. You can check out my July wrap up, it's only 4 books. And everything else is books I started but never finished. There's so many of them, it's really sad. I was in like this mini reading slump, so I could not read as many books as I thought I was going to be able to. And this TBR does not include my summer TBR, which is still happening in August because August is summer for me. Summer isn't until September, November, and October. So it's still summer for me, and I have a summer TBR that I have to read. So I have a lot of books to read. The summer TBR is going to be completely separate from this, but let's just begin. What are the books I need to read this August? Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is my August book pick of the month, and Avery's pretty much just trying to survive high school, and her uncle passes away and pretty much leaves her a massive fortune. The only catch is that she has to live in the mansion that has the disinherited family in it, which includes the uncle's grandsons. And one of them is convinced that Avery is a con woman, and I am assuming this might be the love interest, but that's Inheritance Games. I've heard a lot of good things about this book, so I'm really excited for it. That's why I chose it as one of my August book picks of the month. The next book I have to read is Gilded Wolves, which was my June book pick of the month because my friend is still waiting for me to finish this book. I'm literally only 2 chapters in and I have to finish it. So this is also next on my August TBR. I am going into that one blind because I want to not potentially feed this reading slump any more than I have to, so I want to go into that one a bit more blind. Next is These Holy Vows by Lexi Ryan. This is the first book to These Twisted Bonds, which came out like last month, and I went to the bookstore last month, picked this book up thinking, oh, I'm gonna read it. I started reading it. I did not remember anything. I was so lost in the first few chapters. I was like, I have to go back and reread this. I'm about 1/3 in. I need to finish this month. I am tabbing, I am noting, I'm annotating, and hopefully I'm gonna draw some artistic somethings in these books because I really want to get into my annotation artistry era. I'm just really itching for that, but I need a book that is like inspiring me to do that, and so far I haven't really gotten one. I feel like Crow Prince would have been it, like the whole trilogy, if I had had the second 2 books of the trilogy in physical copy, because I read the majority of the trilogy on Kindle. Oh well. 2 more books I have to finish this August. This is ACOTAR like vibes. If Fae World was reality TV, the plot isn't always there, and honestly, I read the first book through audiobook and it was way better in audiobook in my opinion. Reading it like just by itself is actually kind of more boring. I'm hoping it's gonna pick up as I get better, but it was one of the books that entertained me in February when I was really sick, so it's automatically one of my favorites. Plus, I'm just really invested in the story and I really want to know what happens. Like, what happens to this girl? She does not like Fae. It's a Fae book. It's like a love triangle, betrayal, sisterly bonds. There's a lot happening in this. Next is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. So this is Nikolai's story, and I've been trying to finish this book for 2 months. I still have not gone past the 3rd chapter, and it's really disappointing me. So far, starting off with somewhat of a bang. I'm hoping the bang stays. I just really want to finish Snow Light series. I have Rule of Wolves as well, which I would love to eventually get to, but I need to get through King of Scars first. I don't know why I'm in such a bad reading slump. It's really annoying me. But Nikolai's my favorite character. I love him. I've heard that the books do not live up to the hype of who Nikolai is, but that's fine. I'm still going to read his story. I'm here for his moods because he is such an interesting character. If I would rewrite a book, I don't think I have any inspiration to rewrite his story just yet. If I were to rewrite a book, it would probably be Nikolai's. He's the only one most interesting to me. Next book is Clockwork Prince. I've read this a few times before, and this would be a reread, So I'm not, technically I don't have to read this on my August TBR, but it is on it because I still never finished it from last month, but that's fine too. It's still going to be on there. It's part of the Infernal Devices series. If you have not read the Infernal Devices series, go read it. Go read it. You do not have to read the Mortal Instruments first, but I personally think you should just get through Mortal Instruments so that you can thoroughly enjoy Infernal Devices. Clockwork Princess broke me, put me back together, and broke me again. And to this day, it's still one of my favorite books, but Chain of Thorns is coming. It's coming soon. And it might take the pedestal from Clockwork Princess and give it to James of Thorns. James and Cordelia have my heart. I just love them. I love them. I wish they were real life people who would be the bestest friends. Heck, I would be a shadow hunter. If we're talking about fictional realities, I might as well make myself a magical creature. Anyway, A Gathering Shadows by V.E. Schwab. I really want to become a V.E. Schwaber, and actually when I did start this book, I actually really enjoyed the beginning of it so far, and I kept thinking about it. Of all the books I wasn't able to finish in July, this is the one I kept thinking about, but not having the, not even motivation to read. Like, everything I read really just felt like ash to me. It was like I was eating dirt, and I just could not, so instead of accidentally having to DNF all these books, I was like, you know what, Minnie, let's just wait for something to stick. Wicked and King stuck, and Legendary stuck. So that was last month. I really want to become a V.E. Schwaber. I love the hype around her books. Everyone says they're good, but honestly, I really just want to enjoy a good book and have people to talk to about it. So hopefully this redeems my lack of V.E. Schwab fandom, because I did not like Galliant. And A Darker Shade of Magic definitely put me in a reading slump, so yeah. Threading with caution on that one. I'm already in a reading slump. I don't need to be in a reading dump. That would really suck. Next is Twin Crowns by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Weber. This is a dual authorship book. It has 2 POVs, it has twins, and to me, since I've already started and I'm already like 25% in, I am getting Disney Pixar princess vibes from this book. It's very YA, it's very new writing style. You can tell that they're new authors, and pretty much these are 2 twin sisters. One sits on the throne and the other one is trying to steal that throne from her. So that's the story. It's a fantasy romance, and yeah, the book is super beautiful because it's like a Fairy Loot exclusive edition book, but I really expected more from it. So far, I'm gonna keep pushing through, but it's leaning towards a 3. We're only at like the beginning settings, so it might get better. And I saw a lot of TikTok saying that this book is like one of their new favorite books, and I'm like, wait, what? We must be reading 2 different books, because I'm not there yet. Next is A Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. All the Madeline Miller fans stand down, because I do not like this book as much as I thought I would. This is supposed to be a tragic romance, and I prepared myself emotionally for a tragic romance, but this is reading memoir-ish. There's not a lot of action happening, and I'm already like halfway done with the book, and now things are starting to pick up. It's slow. And it's not even like a slow burn slow. The burn didn't even happen until like also halfway in, which was very disappointing. I love the characters. The characters are so precious to me, but I wish I caught them in a different scene and stage of their life. I feel like it would have been a more interesting story. I feel like this was a prelude book to another book, if you're getting my vibe. I'm gonna continue it, see what happens. I've already started tabbing it. I'm not writing in this. These are my special Limerick editions, so worst case scenario, if I don't like these, I will be selling them, donating them, getting rid of them, but yeah, I expected more from Song of Achilles. The hype has been lost on me, sadly. We shall see. I'm not done with it, so maybe the hype will come back. Maybe it'll redeem itself, but right now, Next is This Vicious Grace by Emily Theed. I believe that's how you pronounce it, her last name. It's 3 weddings, 3 funerals, 1 chance to save them all. This is a fantasy romance. This was one of my Fairy Loot books, Limerick, Fairy Loot. It's a Fairy Loot book. It's yellow, it's gorgeous, it has sprayed edges. It's just a beautiful book, and it's a fantasy romance, and I'm here for it. I think this is a debut novel. Do not quote me, I don't really remember anymore. But I saw a lot of TikTokers saying that this is one of their new favorite books, so I'm hoping it becomes one of my new favorite books. The praise on this by Lauren Blackwell is one of the reasons Lauren Blackwood is one of the reasons I actually picked up this book and tried to read it in July. This book is incredible. The banter, the romance, the tension. I could not get enough. And you know what? I'm here for that. I want that type of energy in my life, so I'm like 3 chapters in. Next is The Poppy Wars by R.F. Kong. So Babel comes out this month, which is also on my TBR for August. Even though that book is like bigger than my hand, I'm still getting it. And then I found out that Illumicrate is doing a special edition of Babel, and I have an Illumicrate membership, so I'm gonna get a special edition of Babel. And I was just like, note, I've never read any of R.F. Kong's work. This is gonna be my first R.F. Kong work, and yeah, I really wanted to live up to all the hype for me. A lot of people love The Poppy Wars. I got the first book in the series in physical copy, so I could tab and annotate it and really just soak up the story. Like, I heard that the writing is like spectacular, the world building is enormously perfect, and the characters are very real and heart-wrenching. And I'm here for that. I think there's even fantasy romance thrown in. This is a lot of people's favorite series, and it has so much hype. I have to try it. I have to try it. My goal is to read The Poppy Wars entire trilogy before I read Babel. So, we shall see. Babel might be pushed into September. Maybe even October. But I'm going to try to read it. Don't be surprised if I don't get to it all, but this is like really high stake goals that I have for August. August is also the month of my birth, so I also have a lot of stuff happening in August, but I really want to read these books and just be done with them. Also, I need to get on Babel because I feel like it's going to be one of those books that gets spoiled because of Book Talk and TikTok and Bookstagram and the BookTube world, and it's just one of those really hyped books that I could just be casually scrolling halfway out of bed and I get a Babel like spoiler. So I really need to snap at it. Gotta get to it. I know it's gonna get spoiled. I know it. The next book is The Diviners by Libba Bray. I thought this book was spooky dooky, but it's actually not that spooky from what Goodreads says. I am still only about not even 1/3 in. A few chapters in, so the story is still building premise, and it's kind of boring so far, so I hope it picks up. But I really want to love The Diviners. It's a lot of people's favorite series. I want to be part of the hype. And I just want to enjoy good books. I just want to have a good book to enjoy. That's all I really want. So I love how this matches my hair tie. I really hope to be able to get deeper into Diviners this month. We shall see. One of these books I'm picking up today and I'm reading a lot of it, so. Is it going to be you? Are you going to be worthy? Next is the finale by Stephanie Garber. I recently read Legendary last month, and I read Caraval like at the beginning of 2022, like 6-7 months ago, and now we're finally getting to the last book of the trilogy. I liked it. I feel like the hype is lost on me, but I listened to another booktuber's review who has very similar opinions to me about book 1 and 2, and she said that this was actually her first 5-star for the series, and she liked this one better than all of the other ones. So I'm hoping that it becomes a 5-star for me too, and I can like get onto the hype, and then Once Upon a Broken Heart and whatever other sequel there is will keep with the 5-star energy. So I'm hoping that for this book. I really want to love these books. The writing is lyrical. It's very Willy Wonka and whimsical mystery, sisterly bonds. It's circus themed. It's everything I thought The Night Circus would be, but 10 times better. And it's a fantasy romance. It has everything it needs to be perfect. But the plot for me just never is high stake enough. Like, I never am as invested in the plot as I feel like I should be. And the same thing with the love interest. I am never invested in the characters as much as I feel like I should be. And that's my issue with this trilogy so far. But so far it's still really good. I gave the last 2 books 4 stars. And I'm hoping to give this one 5. The next book on my TBR, which I have such a huge pile at this point that it's ridiculous, is A Deal with the Elf King by Elsie Kova. I've been supposed to read another Elsie Kova book a long time ago. The one that I hate the cover of, I'll put it up right here, but I cannot get into that book. So I picked up a different book of hers to try to pick up the writing style and see how much I really like it. Plus she's fae and it's fantasy romance, and say no more. That's all I need right now. So I picked up A Deal with the Elf King. I've been very much in a fae mood. Like, I read The Cruel Prince, which I feel like is fae-like. I read Enchantment of Ravens, which is also fae-like. And Fae has just been a theme for the past 2 months, which I feel like are safe subjects for me. Like, I could get through Crow Prince and I got through Enchantment of Raven. So worst case, if this reading slump is still progressing, I can read The Elf King and hopefully function outside of this reading slump. The next is The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. I really want to read this because it's a retelling of 1001 Nights and I really need to have a retelling. I feel like retellings always hit the mark for me. I think this one's a Little Crate. No, this is Fairy Loot. Nope, this is Fairy Loot, I'm pretty sure. Yes, it's Fairy Loot. So I just need to read it. Fairy Loot vets its books before they put them in the box, but I know Fairy Loot leans more into contemporary fantasy, so I hope that this is more higher fantasy than that, because I am not here for contemporary fantasy. I'm already in a book slump. I don't need anything else to like push me over the edge. And the last book I plan on reading in August, which I actually finished today, which is August 1st, is An Enchantment of Ravens. This was one of my carryover books from July, and I finished it like this morning. I only had 50 pages left, so it wasn't that difficult. And that is all the books I have on my August TBR. It is crazy, it is massive, it is unrealistic, it is all those things and more. But oh well, we're still gonna try. We'll see if we land among the stars. And that is all, folks. I have a huge number of books I have to read this month, over 17 books, but that's fine. Am I gonna do it? Who knows? The end of August is gonna be very interesting. That's all I can really say about that, but remember, I'm here every Friday and I'm on socials now. I have a TikTok, an Instagram, a Bookstagram, and that's it. And yeah, be sure to follow me there. And remember, I'm here every Friday, so till next Friday, y'all. Happy reading. Bye.